known is the process that we have in our faculty recruitment. We are open to anybody applying to the institute. There is word of mouth, networking, conferences, from a variety of sources. We do seek applications, and then we get inputs from all these faculty, with multiple perspectives. We figure out whether there is a fit. And I think this process enables that we get people who also, when the offer is made, the institution knows a reasonable bit about the person, and the person knows a reasonable bit about the institute. And once you have somebody on board who's good, that person is then going to drive various initiatives in the institution. And that is what the institute is all about. It is these 80, 85, 90 people who actually form the institute.
Being a faculty was later. In fact, the decision to become the faculty was more important. And that happened only here. After my engineering, I was offered the job of a teacher, which I refused. When I came here, I figured out a teacher can have some place in the world around. And so this place is something where both students, who are actually called participants here, and teacher have a kind of a relationship which is very, very different. And that's how I became a teacher here. This place is meant for participants to learn on their own. And the only thing we hope that they'll learn is how to learn. Theories, one can always learn from books, maybe devise some of them on one's own, but management is something, or any applied discipline is something which one needs to experience and then get it.
Every faculty member is treated like an institution builder. Now, I can give you my own case. I started a Center for HRD at XLRI. I went on leave for a year and a half and created a center there and got back to the institute. And then after that, we started the National HRD Network. It was started in wing number 15 of IIM Ahmedabad. Today it is worldwide known kind of an institution. Samuel Paul, who was director of this institute, started the Public Affairs Institute. Vyas, after he left this institute, headed the Institute of Development Studies. So I think all these experiences speak the amount of freedom, autonomy that is given to the faculty in this institute.
Institute has nurtured and developed a unique self-governance model. Various academic committees and wide-scale participation by faculty members in academic administration through these committees, and with strong culture of peer pressure, has led to this unique self-governance model. What is also unique to IIMA is that the director, after 5-year term is over, steps down and joins as a faculty. This has further strengthened the self-governance model prevailing at the institute.
There is the culture at the institute, which is a very open kind of culture. Here, it's not a question of giving or taking. It's just a question of each faculty member moving in a way so that there is more growth and development. I would say this open culture allows each and every faculty member to do what they are interested in, to pursue things, follow ways and paths as per their beliefs, as per their passion.
IIMA is the kind of place where you have the freedom to try and do whatever you wish to do within, of course, the confines of the area that you work in. Doors get open to study or research or meet people in any area that you want to. And if you're a curious person, if you are interested in knowing and learning and bringing that back to your class, IIMA helps you do that. My own experience is I have learned about variety of industries, variety of kinds of organizations because I've been part of IIMA. And that's what has helped me grow, helped me develop, and also bring that back to my classroom.
If you're looking at maintaining that leadership position in a competitive environment where we compete for the best students, best faculty resources, and also best jobs, we have been able to maintain leadership over a period of 50 years because of factors such as quality of students, quality of the faculty, the depth and intensity of the courses that faculty teaches, the pedagogical rigor, substantial support from our alumni, and excellent administrative support from the staff of this institute. And all these elements put together is what makes the program and the institute excellent, not only in India, but also in this part of the world.
In addition to full-time teaching staff, the institute draws a wide range of guest faculty and speakers from around the world. Attracted by the opportunity to teach the country's finest minds, the guest faculty adds considerable depth to the range of subjects offered at the institute and enhances its reputation as a leading center of learning. The institute runs the following management programs: Postgraduate Program in Management (PGP), the Postgraduate Program in Agri-Business Management (ABM), Fellow Program in Management (FPM), Postgraduate Program for Executives (PGP-X), Management Development Programs (MDP).
IIM Ahmedabad aspires to become a globally acknowledged management school that functions in a manner that is consistent with the needs of a developing society. European Quality Improvement System, EQUIS, is the leading international system of quality assessment, improvement, and accreditation of institutions of higher education in management. The institute took a significant step towards global recognition by becoming the first and the only business school in the country to have been accorded EQUIS accreditation.
The whole concept of IIM was done on this carpet right behind me, and they all used to sit on the floor on the carpet, and I used to bring in lots of tea for them to drink. And the ideas of the IIM I used to listen to every day, and it's wonderful how it grew from one idea to a fully blossomed sort of flower, as I can say, and how the students should be treated, how the building should be built. And I think Louis Kahn was the only architect who could do it because his understanding was so great. And he and Vikram, could talk together and understand each other's ideas. And I think that's really important.
Spread over 100 acres, the campus is an elegant testimony to its architect Louis Kahn's vision to create an ambience in which learning flourished. The interplay of light, shadow, space, and shape create a harmony which has inspired generations of students and faculty. The centerpiece of the institute is a Louis Kahn Plaza, a meeting ground where most campus events are conducted. The faculty rooms and classrooms are connected by the Vikram Sarabhai Library. The student dorms with a capacity of 25 to 40 each are self-contained. Behind the student dorms are the staff houses. Most of IIMA's faculty and staff stay on campus. Sports and fitness facilities are provided for the health conscious. Flora and the fauna complement the tranquility of the campus. Bridging the staff and the student wings is the Vikram Sarabhai Library. Housed in 24,000 feet is a growing collection of more than 170,000 books, 500 Indian and foreign journals. In recent years, the library has begun collecting white papers, research theses, and student projects to make them readily available to a large campus community at all times. The library contains an eclectic body of knowledge ranging from history, geography, literature, and religion to philosophy and, of course, management. Kasturbai Lalbai Management Development Center, KLMDC, is spacious and has 64 air-conditioned rooms, a reading lounge, recreation facilities, dining hall catering to diverse tastes, and a well-appointed computer lab. IIMA has grown into a large institution with a wide diversity of infrastructure, courses, faculty, and students. Managing the day-to-day functioning of this complex establishment is a proactive administrative group that adapts rapidly to change and goes above the call of duty to keep the institution running at peak efficiency. The culmination of the management education a student receives at IIMA is to join an enterprise in which both employer and employee can grow. Recognizing placements as one of the pillars of its success, IIMA has been continuously refining the selection process to ensure that both students and employers can come to an informed decision before forging a partnership.
We've been coming to IIMA Bhat for recruitment for the last 5 years, and we typically hire 4 to 5 students every year. We've had an extremely good experience from the students that we've hired over the years. They demonstrate fairly good analytical skills, amazing communication, leadership, as well as people management skills. The last few years, we've seen batches, the people we hired move up fairly rapidly in the company. And comparing it with these students we hire from other business institutes, we found them exceptionally good, which is one of the reasons we come back every year and try and hire as many students we can from IIMA Bhat.
Another pillar of IIMA's success, its alumni, forms the bedrock of its immense international goodwill, a source of constant encouragement, and among the major factors for the Institute's growth. The adaptability, skills, techniques, leadership, urge for continuous learning, and personal networks fostered by the Institute, coupled with its powerful brand, has enabled IIMA alumni to succeed anywhere in the world. Today, 2/3 of India's CEOs with MBAs are from IIM Ahmedabad.
One of the things about Ahmedabad that has been very special, what IIM has been able to do, is to produce leaders and true leaders who have gone into all kinds of spheres of activity. It's no longer that graduates from IIMA go into the corporate world and become CEOs and lead their organizations. But today IIMA has produced people who are providing leadership in a whole host of areas, some of them in the private sector, in fact a large number doing outstandingly well, but also people who have gone into civil society organizations, into voluntary organizations and NGOs, who have created a name for themselves and have been path-breaking, people who have gone into government and have introduced altogether new concepts and broken the shackles of bureaucracy in many ways, and brought in a completely new vision and direction to the government. People who have gone into sectors which are completely unexplored, entrepreneurs of course, but people are getting into education, which is a new area, and providing leadership there of the kind of things that this country needs today as we begin to broaden our educational system itself. And of course, many people who have been outstanding academic leaders, who've created a phenomenal name for themselves and indeed for IIMA.
The first 17 years of my career I spent with McKinsey & Company, the consulting firm. But for the last 7 or 8 years now, I've been heading the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation in India. Now, the interesting thing about working in public health and working on disease and health conditions of the poorest is that at the core of it, it's a business problem. The challenge is how do you scale up the solution? And scaling up delivery of a known solution is actually a challenge of business. And in a way, I often think that almost every day of my life, I'm using things that I've learned many years back at my alma mater, IIM Ahmedabad. Let me talk about 2 or 3 things that come to mind. One, clearly there is a set of tools. So there is strategic thinking. There's a problem-solving approach. There's a way of doing issue analysis, a way of thinking about logistics. I think there's a basket of tools that we learned back in the institute, which are very relevant today. These are just sound business techniques. But I think it goes a little deeper than that, because when I think about public health, a lot of what I'm doing here is following models of leadership. And I think one of the things that the foundation gave me, at least, were role models for leadership. I can think of many of the professors that we learned so much from, and not just in the classroom, the kind of people that they were. I think of many of my colleagues and classmates, the places that they've gone and the work that they've done. It really, I think, IIM was a crucible for inspirational leadership of that kind.
When I actually started working, I felt that I really enjoyed the intellectual engagement. I loved people leaving a class with, new insight. I loved being challenged. I really enjoyed the debate among faculty, and kicking around ideas. And if you think about it, this is all what used to happen in IIM. We had a very bright group, and people were constantly discussing issues that were actually very complex. So in a way, I have not left IIM. I have not left the business school setting. And I think that's the best part of it all.
The Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, has all along been a great experience. The 2 years that I spent there, and as I said, as a finishing school, there's no equal in India. The kind of courses and the kind of faculty and the kind of fellow students that I met there have had a profound effect on my own understanding of a nation state like India. One of the best courses that I undertook out there, and which I would say has had an immense impact on my life, was that of the course in economics by Dr. Rangarajan. Dr. Rangarajan ultimately went on to be India's governor at the Reserve Bank of India and held sway on many of the economic policies and continues to do so. And so, having been a student of his has been a great privilege.
Leadership is about leading people, perhaps not always from the front. It is about enabling them to move forward. It is about harnessing the physical, intellectual, emotional, and perhaps the spiritual energies of an ecosystem in which the organization exists. What one remembers, and it's become part of the habit, is the incisiveness with which the professors used to push us to the wall literally with why, and why. And at the end, if it would dawn on you that your line of reasoning was absolutely right or absolutely wrong, the fundamentals with which you started get questioned. And that was a wonderful way of learning.
Going to IIM Ahmedabad was a life-changing experience. What IIM Ahmedabad imbibed in me deeply was the sense of purpose. Even after I graduated from IIM Ahmedabad, I have maintained links with several faculty members there. And of course, I've had the opportunity to hire several future batch students and mentor several others who didn't work with me but who are working in similar fields.
I always love coming back to the institute. In fact, every time I come to Ahmedabad, I try to just pop in somewhere and just breathe the air and go back. I'll give you a simple example of how powerful the brand is. I've done close to 100 test matches, and yet I meet young people and they look at me and they sort of size me up and look up and down and say, is this guy for real? And I start to feel very happy, maybe they like my work on television or whatever. And then they look at me and say, are you really from IIMA? Because I find that the IIMA brand in my life is far bigger than everything that followed. One of the reasons I think I've got accepted in my profession as being a little different from everybody else is not as much because I didn't play the same level of cricket as everybody else, which is a flawed paradigm anyway, but it's a very, very powerful brand, and it has helped me enormously. And I'm a slightly emotional kind of fellow, so I have almost reverence for the brand, because without doubt it is the biggest thing that happened to me.
फिर IIM के स्टूडेंट ने हम लोगों को साथ सहकार देते, अच्छी तरह बच्चों को जो भी चीज़ चाहिए वो हमको नियमित अनुसार दे लेते। बच्चों की फीस है, मतलब होमवर्क का सामान, कुछ भी चीज़, पेंसिल, रबड़, वो सब चीज़ हमको राशि मिलती है। और बच्चों को हर एक जाने आने का भाड़ा या वैन, उनका पूरा खर्चा उन लोग निकाल रहे हैं।
A terrific achievement of our batch, the class of 1978, was the establishment of Impact, an NGO set up with the idea of providing education to the underprivileged girl child. Since 2003, Impact has set up over 450 learning centers across 6 different states in India and is currently providing education to over 13,000 underprivileged girls in the age group 6 to 14.
When you leave the institute, don't think of your career as a career in business, as a career in a company, as a career that is going up a ladder. Think of it far more broadly than that. The tools that you've acquired here, the values, the people who inspired you, these lessons can be applied in very, very broad fields. And I think the rewards are of many, many different kinds. So I would ask you, I would challenge you, in fact, to think, don't think in the conventional way about the next placement season or the job that comes on day one. I think there are far more opportunities than that, and don't let your imagination ever constrain you in this.
Young people today have a whole range of areas in which they can work. The critical thing, therefore, is not so much what should I do, where should I be, which used to trouble some of us. It is how do I excel in the area in which I want to work. Doesn't matter what it is that you do what interests you, but excel in it. Today, there is a tendency to judge people and judge how well they're doing purely by what compensation they take home. I think that's very short-sighted. What matters really is how much change do you create, how much impact do you leave behind.
Throughout the 50 years of its existence, IIMA has gone through many cycles of introspection, self-evaluation, envisioning and change, which have taken it to its present position of preeminence. Today, the Institute stands on the threshold of a new decade.
IIMA will evolve creative leaders. Such leaders in various fields will have the capacity to face the problems of the nation, defeat the problems and succeed. IIMA will generate creative leaders who will have strong quality to combat corruption and above all sustain development of the nation.
The vision of the Institute is to become a globally respected school that is regarded as a thought leader in management. An institute that shapes management practices by creating new frontiers of knowledge. An institute that develops ethical and socially sensitive leader managers committed to transforming society.